Hello everybody. I'm sure this video is going to catch everybody off guard because I sure never seen myself putting one like this out. But finally, I'm going to have a video where Johnny Boy isn't the subject matter. This time it's going to revolve around a different Jonathan altogether. His name is Jonathan Nolan, and he runs a channel that goes by the name of Soap Ministry. Yeah, I'll leave a link in the description area so you can go over and check him out if you want to. Anyways, this particular Jonathan's been hard on the other Jonathan's trail for at least, a decade now. And I know that he's been a major thorn in the side of Kleck for a long time. But to get back on the subject at hand, I received a comment from him on my last video where he asked me to take as much time and energy that I spend on Kleck's videos and use that in order to test his spirit.
Okay, and since when I asked Gene Revol to test my spirit as he tested Jonathan Kleck's spirit, then he set up a little trap here in the conversation, and that's all right because that's me who asked him to do the testing, or rather the Lord God, okay, who asked him through his servant to test to prove. Okay, because I know now. Okay, I didn't know him, Gene Revol. I didn't know much about him at all. But after the conversation and before, looking a little bit on his stuff, and I know now how it started for him. This thing about his obsession with Jonathan Kleck, just as I had an obsession with Jonathan Kleck for a different reason. Okay, but the thing is that. Sorry, okay, I'm just going to switch. Okay, so I talked to you a little bit about the story behind this Bible.
Now, this isn't something that happens all that often, I suppose, because it's never happened to me before, so I commented back to him and tried to figure out what was going on with this so-called random request. I mean, I don't know the guy, and if I ever watched anything he put out on his channel before, it wouldn't have been something that I would have automatically linked to him. But as it turns out, Jonathan is friends with Kelly from a channel called Walk With Me. And I'll leave a link in her channel because she has a lot of thought-provoking material there as well. And because of that, I'll sometimes shoot her an email and let her know what I thought about her video, and sometimes I'll send her some information that fits in more with her line of research, more so than mine. And that's where the new Jonathan comes into the picture. It was from a video that Kelly put out on the 5th of June called The Bell Ringer, Confession of a True Prophet of Baal. Isn't that great? 22, Allah my Father. And in the comment section I wrote, and I'll just read the parts that are relevant, and if anybody wants to read the whole thing, just hit pause and start reading. It says, I watched it this morning, and when I seen the painting on the wall and what you pointed out, it blew me away. I'm not sure if anybody else seen it, but the first image that I saw from the earth and clouds was the face of Jesus looking back out into space. I'm going to try to find a cleaner image of it because I could start to see a lot of imagery coming through. When I get the chance, I'll send something in email so you can look at what I was seeing. So later on, I sent her an email that said, when you get a link that looks like this, click on the red box with the 3 dots. It'll show you what I thought I seen in the clouds of that mural. And then she replied, sorry, not getting a visual. It takes me to view image, then nothing. So I took the painting that she showed on her video and I superimposed a frame that was from the movie The Passion of the Christ. But what I did was I made a video clip out of it so that she'd be able to see it changing and not just have to look at a picture. And it was the video message that I wanted Kelly to see from Walk With Me. But I was having trouble sharing it with her. Now the first half of it only shows the painting that we were discussing. And then I show how the still frame that I took from The Passion of the Christ seemed to fit perfectly when you overlaid it on top of the painting. So the next part you hear is basically where the video starts, the one that I wanted to send her. When that picture popped up on your video the other day, I said the first image that came to my mind was Jesus looking back out into space, and I could see his face in the clouds. But last night I tried to show my wife, I took a still shot of it, and she had a hard time seeing it. So what I did, I took something from the Passion of the Christ facial expression, and I superimposed it on this and let it fade in and then fade back out so you could see what I was trying to convey that I seen. But I'm not sure if anybody else besides me sees it, and maybe I'm just seeing things. I can also see the sheep's head that looks like directly above his temple, but I was just basically concentrating on the face of Jesus for now. But here, I told you I was going to get something to you, so I wanted you to take a look at this. I'll talk to you later. But after about 3 attempts to share the video, I had to give it up and just send her the still frames. So apparently that's when she shared the picture with Jonathan Nolan from Soap Ministry, and then he contacted me. I mean, that's perfectly fine that she shared it. I have no problem at all, because sometimes the more eyes that gets on something, the better the results are. I downloaded it to YouTube as a private video. When I have something that I want to share with somebody in particular, I'll do just that. I'll make a video and put the setting on private. And that way, only the people I send an invitation to, they're the only ones that can view it. Okay, now that clip to Kelly had a twofold purpose. First is to show what it was that brought Jonathan over to my channel to ask me to test him. And secondly, it was a perfect example of how I will create a video and then send it to an individual person if I want to get their opinion on something without having to plaster it up on my main channel. Because if I do that, then I have to, try and explain to everybody who commented, like, what was that all about? It's just something that I've done in the past, and I'm going to continue to do it that way. But, however, I did try doing that same approach with Jonathan, but it didn't go over so well. I watched a few more of his recent videos where he was discussing the comments. We were, exchanging on some of his videos, and he was also bringing up some of our email dialogue back and forth, and he was making what I felt were some wrong conclusions as to what I was actually saying. So I wanted to make a short video to try to explain myself, because sometimes it's easier to get a message across when it's spoken instead of the written word. Well, that went over like a lead balloon, because that's when I realized that he was taking the video that I sent and was now going to break it down on a new series of videos he was making. And that's where I was first informed that this was to be an open and public discussion and not to be hid. He made that perfectly clear with his first reply back after seeing that the video I posted was listed as private. I'll play it here for everybody so you can hear it firsthand, but the impression I got from it was that he felt I was trying to hide something here. Because he starts off with, some symbolism where he's pointing out the window and saying that it's getting dark out and that he has to use the artificial lighting. And then he starts referring to the scriptures where he says that they're working in the dark, and that's because they're trying to hide it.
Okay, sorry for the lighting. Okay, it's me again, Jonathan Nolan. Sorry for the lighting because it's getting late already, okay? The sun is not set already, but it's 8:40 in the evening, so the lighting is bad. And I've got the artificial lighting, and it's not recording well with the screen, but since I'm relying on the phone of my friend with whom I'm working during the night, okay, we're going to work again after I'm recording this. But this thing about in the Bible saying their work is in the dark, and I'm saying, look, I have to record this in the dark because the lighting is bad, it's getting late already. In the Bible, when it says their work is in the dark, it's referring to they are trying to hide it. In the Bible, when it says their work is in the dark, it's referring to they are trying to hide it. Okay, their work is in the dark doesn't mean daytime or nighttime. It means they try to hide what they do.
Now, if you didn't catch that, little subtle comparison he's making right there, rewind it, listen to it again. All his pointing to the outside lighting and the artificial lighting on the inside, that's all just a big precursor to his introduction of the video correspondence that I sent him. And it seems like it was done that way subtly just to set up the premise that I may be hiding something. And that's why it was sent as private.
What I believe is everything that I was going to do for my testimony, it would have to be, shown in public. It should be open, okay, in out there, okay, not hid. And, I'm continuing with the discussion with Gene Revel. If you have been following what I've been doing these past 10 years, okay, if you have been following the past 10 years of what I've been doing on YouTube, you know how I do what I do. Okay, it's, everybody that are Christians and that are doing something on the YouTube, even the false prophets, okay, even the people that pretend, okay, even the false prophets, okay, even the people that pretend, okay.
Now I'm going to stop it right there because I wanted to be able to show that Jonathan already has his doubts about me.
Even the false prophets, okay, even the people that pretend, okay.
So it don't come as a surprise. Yeah, I'm splicing up some of your video here because I have to dissect it. I'm just going to put in what I want to address, but if anybody thinks that I'm taking anything out of context by doing anything like that, his address is in the comment box or the description box. Go to his site, listen carefully to everything in its entirety.
So, this is getting interesting, okay? Because first of all, I want to tell you, okay, what's going on, okay? How it goes so far with Gene Revel. As you can see, there's a video there, okay? It says private. I don't even know how come there's 4 views on it, but it says private. July 6th, today is July 7th, but getting toward the 8th. When you have private video, comments are not supported on private videos. That's one thing. When you have private video, you cannot use a site to download the video with the URL. So I'm going to first record with the phone the integrity of this private video, okay, because the reason, okay, I know the scripture, okay, I know when you have an issue with a brother, first you go in private. If you are not heard, then you bring it to 2 or 3 witnesses, and after that to the old church. Okay, I know the scripture, but what I believe is I'm led to do it still in public, right on the spot. The reason for it, okay, is because right now we are at a time of war. We are at a time of deception. We are at a time where we really need the old church to judge of all things, okay? Because if you take an issue in private, for this instance, okay, we are at war.
Yes, war. Unbeknownst to me, Jonathan and I are at some type of war. Because I sent him that private video, and apparently you can't leave comments on it, even though we've been emailing back and forth this whole time so he could tell me anything he wanted to, anytime he wanted to. But apparently his big hang-up is what other people couldn't see. They couldn't see what was going on, and other people couldn't leave their comments.
It's much better to have it recorded for all the other people to have their opinion. Okay, I really want it, okay, to have people to state their opinion about this discussion.
You see, Jonathan, I mean, that was all news to me. I had no idea that you'd set up some sort of ground rules that I had to strictly abide by in order to try to do what you initially asked me to do.
Since, when I asked Gene Revol to test my spirit as he tested Jonathan Clegg's spirit.
I mean, you searched me out, Jonathan. It wasn't the other way around. And if you already had some type of agenda that you were trying to fulfill, maybe you should have started off by letting me know up front what all the rules were. So do I need to contact Kelly from Walk With Me channel? Maybe apologize for trying to send her that video in a private fashion? Or the other people that I've ran videos by where I was trying to get their opinion on something? Do I need to go back and get in touch with them and reassure them that I'm not some creature of darkness?
In the Bible, when it says their work is in the dark, it's referring to they are trying to hide it.
The reason I sometimes do it that way is because a video clip's too big to attach to an email. But I still want somebody to see or hear something in particular. I don't do it as if I'm trying to hide information from the rest of the world. I do it because I don't feel a need to have to bring every commenter up to speed on what the video they just seen was all about. And that's what would happen if I put every video I wanted somebody to see on my main page. And that's why I list them as private. And if anybody's wondering why I'm continuously keeping Jonathan's picture up on the screen, I have my reasons. You see, in my videos, I usually try to at least keep people's attention while I'm talking, or try to find interesting pictures that might relate to what I'm talking about, or maybe just something scenic. I've already come across Jonathan's reaction to me doing this, too. I know from watching his videos he'll focus and concentrate in images, and he'll relate them to his ideas as to what he thinks people put them up on the screen for. Well, silly me, I did what I always do, and I downloaded pictures on my last video I sent him. Yes, it was the private video. And along with listening to my message, I found him starting to stray into the pictures as having some type of alternate meaning. I mean, I'm sorry, Jonathan, if you don't like me saying this, but yes, I do believe that includes the KJV Bible. I've said that the Father's true children were born with the spiritual DNA to be able to decipher the truth from the lies. And that's why Jesus...
Okay, I really wonder what it's about, these picture with the crystals, okay, underneath, okay, I'm not sure exactly what's there for.
spoke in the parables, because he knew that the true children would be able to understand his work in the parables, able to decipher the Father's true children were born in every aspect of life. I mean, I'm sorry, Jonathan, if you don't like me saying this, but yes, I do believe that includes the KJV Bible. I've said that the Father's true children were born with the spiritual DNA to be able to decipher the truth from the lies. And that's why Jesus spoke in the parables, because he knew that the true children would be able to understand his words.
Okay, I really wonder what it's about, these picture with the crystals, okay, underneath, okay, I'm not sure exactly what's there for.
So because of this, unless I'm including video footage or some other form of relevant information, I will only include Jonathan's photo to look at, because I know that if he can find fault with that, I certainly shouldn't be held in suspicion for it. But do you want to know what really sucks about all this, Jonathan? Let me tell you what really sucks. By you shoving me into a corner and making me publish these videos and marking them for public view, I have to do something that literally makes me sick inside. I have to publicly defend Kleck against the channels that I know are trying to do the right thing by pointing out his lies and deceptions. But when those lies can't be substantiated, I'm not going to throw my integrity under the bus by putting my backing behind something that I know to be false. No matter how much I want to, I just can't do it. The first one I'll bring up is the video where you're accusing Kleck of lying about having a broken finger on his left hand.
because his broken finger is not broken on both of his hands, so it was really a lie.
Because in one of his videos, he was displaying his right hand as having the broken finger.
From Walk With Me, this video from Walk With Me, okay, Kelly, okay, she made a video there, okay, I don't know if she really see my videos anymore. I think that she's got a lot in the world, okay, that is taking a lot of her time. Everything that she's doing, it's really deep searching to give, a message that is mastered. Okay, she got to master what she's going to deliver, because we're no fools to begin to speak about things without doing first diligent search. All this video that I'm recording, okay, I did search, okay, before opening them out. I know it sounds a little bit foolish, but you can tell that I'm making search before opening them out. So from this video, okay, this thing about pointing out that when he's doing is turning upside down, sometimes he's saying that even the truth, he is turning it upside down. He's doing with two hands. So from one hand and to the other hand, because his broken finger is not broken on both of his hands, so it was really a lie, and it's the hand sign of the devil. It's an excuse to display it in front of your face. I have no more time left to record. I got to drop the information from the phone to the computer and continue later. Sorry.
Okay, I need to interject something right here, because there was something that transpired between Jonathan and I feel I need to explain it. Because I had already made this portion of the video you're watching, where I realized that the image was reversed, and I brought it to Jonathan's attention. But then there was another video that just came out where he dealt with this same subject, and it kind of upset me a little bit the way he did it. So I'm going to let this part play out, and then I can give a better explanation on the other side of it as to what I was upset about. Okay then, let me hit play again on the video we were already watching. And after I seen the original airing on Walk With Me channel, I knew instantly that it wasn't true. Not that Kelly knew, or you knew, when you guys put it out, but it was just an optical illusion caused by the camera. But it was because I almost made the same mistake of putting out a video about what I refer to as Molegate. You remember that big thing that was growing under Kleck's right eye? I think it was, and then one day I seen it was under the other eye, and I think it was Robin Hood or some channel who was doing a skit on it, and every time the camera would come back on him, the mole would be on the other side. Now, I had put a video out called 100% No Loin, in which I received numerous comments saying that his mole was switching from side to side, and it caught me off guard a little bit because it wasn't even what the show was about. But after I went back for a second look, I mean, sure enough, the commenter was right. Because there it was, mirrored imaging. I mean, it's extremely easy to get tricked with it, but that's when you have to start looking at everything in the background. And then you realize somehow that everything was totally flipped from one side of the room to the other. Anyways, when I seen this same thing happening, I wanted to warn Jonathan about it. The new Jonathan here. So I sent him this email. And said, Jonathan, I started watching some of your new series, and I feel I need to point out an error that I believe you and Kelly have made when saying that Kleck is showing both his right and left finger as being broken. I think it's video number 4. I also noticed this anomaly in the past. However, this is only an illusion that's being cast by seeing a mirrored image. Everything about the pictures are completely reversed due to the settings on his camera when it was being shot. Notice where the big sheet metal with the Axe of Peter inscribed on it is. On both pictures. They're opposite. The same thing goes with that strip of wood that holds up that coffin-looking thing he usually has hanging up. And also the picture on the wall is on the opposite sides, as well as the table with the vase on it. I was going to email Kelly concerning this, but I know that she is mourning the loss of her mother right now, and it wasn't something extra that I wanted to put on her. But since you brought this up as well, it's better that I were to tell you about this in a private email rather than the comment section. The enemy doesn't need any more ammunition than they already throw at you or Kelly, and if they were to recognize this, they will be more than happy to make a big deal of it in a public forum. I too believe he throws those demonic gestures in our faces, but we cannot accuse him of lying about both of his fingers when we don't have the proper evidence to prove it. There are other claims that have been made as well that I believe are incorrect, but because they would take way more energy for the Klekites to prove the error, I will leave those be. So then I received this email back where the new Jonathan agreed and said that he would correct it, and to my surprise, or my delight, I guess I should say, he did just that. And for that, I must congratulate him.
I want to show you this. This is from Gene Revel. He sent me this. Okay, I talked about the thing about broken fingers, and it's very right to be fair. And if there's an illusion, mistake somewhere, I have no problem to address it. So I don't know if it's from his own YouTube channel of Jonathan Kleck that recorded it like that, but there is a reversal of everything. It's like the camera has been recorded on the reverse. There's setting that you can put your camera to record like that. And it gave the illusion that he was using both hands, but it was really just setting on his camera, okay, for an illusion. Remember that they are magician and magician using illusion. So thank you for pointing it out. Okay, I'm very for it. Okay, if you find something that is obviously a mistake, please point it out.
Okay, now I have to go back to what I was wanting to interject a minute ago, and that would be a clip from one of his recent videos called Joe Cool Sunglasses, Polished Rock 2 of 3.
There was this thing about the ants, and Gene Revel said in a message, showed me this picture, and was trying to explain, look, it's not that he's using both hands in this video that has been used, okay, because of the explanation there. The video I used in my message was taken from Babylon Watch Babylon Exposed, where he shows the video in one, sorry for the confusion. But there is another video in which he used both hands, and there's the markers. So it was mainly talking about, well, be careful before saying that he's using both hands, because in that picture you can see that everything is inverted. So it may look that he's changed hands, but it's because the video has been inverted. So it's the same hand. That was the argument. So that's very good argument. So I said back to Gene Revel, but I got to be careful to what word I use, because I know that Gene Revel, he does listen very careful to every word and the way I speak, and in general anybody, and will did take back my words. And then there was this argumentation about what exactly I said he said and what exactly I said myself. Okay, and this whole thing about it. The point here is that you got to verify and you investigate and you find, okay, there's a follow-up to it. Okay, there's always a follow-up to it, and it's not just stopping right away. I saw him with both hands. Never thought it could be inverted. Then you have Gene Revel saying, look, maybe it's not really both hands because the image has been inverted in the recording of the video. Not stopping there neither. You go on and you continue to search, and then you find out, well, there's another video that he really showed both hands, and it's this one. It's called Prequel to the Brutal Truth.
What a weird way to call a sermon, but it's perfect, isn't it? I'll use the things this world considers foolishness to confound the wise. Teaching is true and contains no lie. 100% no lying. What?
So at 17 minutes from his own channel, it's not been manipulated by somebody else other than himself. It's been manipulated by him, because this, okay, the Acts of Peter, okay, thing, and all the window and the rest, has been switched from one side to the other side, but it's on his channel, it's his video, so it's his manipulation. All right, so you see this is his good hand, there's no broken finger there. Now I'm going to tell you something very simple, okay?
Now, it was after I heard all this, that's when I got a little upset and sent you the comment on your video where I said, I had just finished a lengthy comment concerning your explanation starting at 508 of how I said we should be careful before saying that he's using both hands to make these gestures, because in that picture you can see that everything is inverted. Now, I chose to delete that detailed comment in favor of only saying that you disappointed me yet again, Jonathan. Now, I see that you were once again deducing my words and inserting your own spin on the matter at hand in order to divert attention away from yourself. And then a little while later, you replied with this: I have difficulties to figure out your real mindset towards what I did wrong towards your we should be careful before saying that he's using both hands to make gestures, because in that picture you can see that everything is inverted. What exactly you think I'm trying to do here? I think you've seen more than what it looks. You think this time I accuse you when I don't accuse you. I have not tried. There goes the actual issue of what is the real intention. The Lord knows our motive: to deceive or to change your words or accuse you. I simply tell people that we did the diligent search, and Kelly found by herself there was indeed proof of him using both hands, either inverted video or not inverted video. What is your point? Now, at that point, I commented back and said that I have to make a video to explain what I thought was going on. But as it turns out, it was me who blundered this one, big time. I bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? I had to sit down and listen to everything over and over again, but even though we thought we were on the same page, I came to realize that we were talking about two completely different things. I thought we were talking about whether or not Kleck had busted fingers on both hands. But you and Kelly, you were talking about the fact that he uses both hands to make gestures. Now let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, when this first started, this is what I thought I was hearing you say.
Because his broken finger is not broken on both of his hands, so it was really a lie.
I thought you were saying that Kleck had been faking that his finger on his right hand was broke too, and that it was another lie, and that's when I made the image and sent you the email. Because even when you read my initial email, it says in the very first paragraph that I thought you and Kelly were in error by saying that Kleck was showing both his right and left fingers as being broken. I honestly felt that that's what the whole thing was about, whether or not he was trying to pass off having broken fingers on both hands. And then when you talked about it in your next video, you started off by saying that you received that picture from me, and then you said how you were talking before about broken fingers.
This is from Gene Revel. He sent me this. Okay, I talked about the thing about broken fingers, and it's very right to be fair. And if there's an illusion, mistake somewhere, I have no problem to address it.
So I was still under the impression that all of this was still about broken fingers. It was a short little segment, and even though after you had mentioned the broken fingers, you also said that there were settings on the camera that were used to give him the illusion of using both hands.
There's setting that you can put your camera to record like that, and it gave the illusion that he was using both hands, but it was really just setting on his camera, okay?
But that part never clicked in my mind, that you were meaning to give the illusion that Kleck was using both hands in order to make demonic gestures with them. I was still under the impression that you were talking about broken fingers, period. But as it turns out, I was completely wrong, and I was the only one talking about broken fingers. Because when I heard you bring it back up again on this recent video, all that I kept hearing revolved around Kleck using his hands.
there was this thing about the hands, and Gene Revel said in a message, showed me this picture, and was trying to explain, look, it's not that he's using both hands.
You said that what I had meant by the picture was that Kleck wasn't using both hands, but rather it was that the picture was inverted to show the illusion of him using both hands. I mean, and after I heard that, I said to myself, use both hands? You use both hands for what? I never talked about Kleck using his hands for anything. I was talking about the illusion of Kleck having broken fingers on both hands. You know, and then as I kept listening, it was like a barrage of hands were coming at me. And all I could figure out was, how did Jonathan go from saying broken fingers in his last video
Okay, I talked about, the thing about broken fingers.
to now in this video where the word hand and the phrase use his hands, they were coming out one right after the other.
But there is another video in which he used both hands. So it was mainly talking about, well, be careful before saying that he's using both hands. So it may look that he's changed hands, but so it's the same hand. That was the argument. You have Gene Revel saying, look, maybe it's not really both hands because the image has been inverted in the recording of the video. And you find out, well, there's another video that he really showed both hands, both hands, both hands, both hands.
And when you said that my argument was that maybe he's not using both hands because the image is inverted,
You have Gene Revel saying, look, maybe it's not really both hands because the image has been inverted.
I kept asking myself, maybe he's not using both hands to do what? What's he supposed to be doing with his hands? Because all I ever talked about was his broken finger, which is attached to his hand, I guess, but I wasn't talking about that. You started with my picture that I intended to only be concerning whether or not Kleck had broken fingers on his right hand or not. And out of that whole segment you played, this was the only time the word finger was ever even mentioned.
All right, so you see this is his good hand, there's no broken finger there. Now I'm going to tell you something very simple, okay?
Now, when I said in my email to you that I see that you were once again deducing my words and inserting your own spin on the matter at hand in order to divert attention away from yourself, I honestly thought that's what you were doing. Like I said, though, I was completely wrong about this, but nonetheless, that's exactly what ran through my mind. I said to myself that instead of using that picture I sent that debunked you saying that he was lying about broken fingers, you were going to twist it to fit into your discovery of Kleck using both of his hands to make demonic gestures. And that's when my comments to you came in. I mean, I know this is an extremely long explanation here, Jonathan, but it's important that I get it out there in order to, help clear a few things up. Because now that brings me to Kelly and the Walk With Me channel, and that's where I had first heard about Kleck's broken finger. But as it turns out, what I had thought that I remembered her saying, she never said it at all.
The 100% truth.
Okay, I just want to show you this. This is, okay, he's using both hands here, so he cannot just say, well, I've got a broken finger, and he only uses the one hand when he does the sign. That makes it look like it's doing the sign. But he's also using two hands here, and you can see very clear that he's got that baby finger up, and he's got the thumb down. He's making the sign, okay? Witchcraft.
Kelly stated that Kleck is using both hands here, and he can just not say, well, I got a broken finger, and he only uses the one hand when he does the sign.
He cannot just say, well, I've got a broken finger, and he only uses the one hand when he does the sign.
And then she says, and you can see here very clear that he's got that baby finger up and he's got the thumb down. He's making the sign.
And you can see very clear that he's got that baby finger up and he's got the thumb down. He's making the sign.
She clearly did not mention anything about Kleck having a broken finger on both hands, and she clearly says baby finger, where I had remembered her saying broken finger. Again, I was absolutely in the wrong here because Kelly's intentions, they were only to prove that Kleck uses both hands in order to make these demonic gestures, which she does prove, by the way. My error in all of this is that I did not go back to review Kelly's video more closely so I could confirm what her exact words were. And for that, Kelly, I'm truly sorry that I neglected to re-examine your video on this topic, and my memory failed me big time. When Jonathan focuses his camera in on his screen, which has Kelly's video displayed, and he says, "Okay, from this video," and then he starts describing it.
From Walk With Me, this video from Walk With Me, okay, Kelly, okay, she made a video there.
I mean, I just figured that he was just basically repeating what you had already talked about. And because I knew that I had already seen your video, it never really dawned on me, that the message was getting convoluted, because I thought I had remembered you saying broken finger. And then with Jonathan saying broken fingers, I thought it was all about broken fingers. So again, to both of you, Kelly and Jonathan, I want to apologize for the misunderstanding and say that I'm sorry. And I hope that you can see how I might have gotten confused with this one.
But he's also using two hands here, and you can see very clear that he's got that baby finger up, that he's got that baby finger up.
And now, just to show you that I'm on the same page, I'll let this last little part play out where Jonathan is pointing out Kleck's little pinky finger and asking him why he would even need to use it, just to show whether something is up or down. Plus, I threw in a little clip of Kleck trying to explain it away, just for good measure.
If the goal is to show you with his hand that you've got upside right and upside down, how come he's stretching the little finger also? Because if, for example, you see, okay, my hand, if I want to say something is turned upside down or upside right, what's the need to stretch the other finger if it's to look upside right, upside down? What's the need with the little finger there, okay? There's no explanation because it's not broken. It's really straight there.
I noticed some other people saying, "Oh, look at your Masonic hand signals. This finger is broken. It doesn't close." So if I'm talking like this and I go like this, it's because my finger is broken. People get so crazy weird.
And everybody should know, okay, this is the basic, okay, in the devil symbolism about the hand gesture. They use a lot of hand gesture as codes to show to people who they worship. If it's just about turning things upside right and upside down, it's not relevant to show the little finger unless your real message is to show and gesture to give praise to the devil.
And so I'll end video 1 on this note. And yes, Jonathan, there are more videos to follow. I'll end with your understanding of my tenacity for listening to words.
So I said back to Gene Revolt, but I got to be careful to what word I use, because I know that Gene Revolt, he does listen very careful to every word and the way I speak.
And you're right, Jonathan. You're right on the money with that statement because, at least to me, people should live and die by their words. But if somebody says something, they need to be held into account for it. And that includes me as well. And I would hope that what I just demonstrated, by holding myself to account when I make errors, I hope that'll prove to you that I'll call them like I see them, and that includes me too. And Jonathan, I admit that I pay close attention to the words that people say, pretty much in the same way that you analyze images that surround people in their videos, all in order to try and deduce what their real intentions are, and if they may be trying to reveal something else by using them. And sometimes I can and do make mistakes when it comes to certain conclusions. Just as, you've probably found out through the years that not everybody puts a picture or image up, just to try to be covert about something.
Okay, I really wonder what it's about these picture with the crystals, okay, underneath, okay. I'm not sure exactly what's there for.
My example to you for that would be that I'm only using your photo as eye candy, instead of various landscape scenery or whatever else I might throw up there that I like to put up. It's just up there to give somebody something to look at rather than a blank screen. Now, I did this particular thing with your photo just to send a message to you that I don't have any type of photo agenda going on. And there's no need to try and analyze the screen for any hidden meanings. I don't have any. I did, however, notice that you'd pointed out chemtrails in a couple of your other videos.
There's the big line that's starting from this part of the horizon and going up to the next part of the horizon. Tu vois-tu, man, comment elle en haut, bon, tout ça?
And I know that you think they play a big part in these end time events that are going on today, and so do I. I'm a constant sky watcher, and I'll take pictures all the time, while they're up there painting up the sky. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to take your picture down, and I'm going to start putting up those pictures, because, who knows? Maybe you'll see something else that catches your eye or anybody else out there. There's a lot of strange patterns. But now, we have to get ready for part 2. And I'm afraid that it doesn't have the same type of ending as this one.